The battlefield is changing and Indian military's preparedness is changing along with that. In his Independence Day address, India's Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi highlighted the need for India to develop indigenous drones and counter-drone systems and build capabilities in areas including hypersonic defense. And the most immediately, the Indian Army's next requirement has come into focus. The Army is planning acquisition of loitering munitions and advanced surveillance systems worth around 20,000 crore rupees. This comes on top of the Defence Acquisition Council's earlier approval of around 52,000 crore rupees worth of capital acquisition proposals, with a major emphasis on air defence, counter-drone systems, missile and unmanned capabilities. So what is driving this shift? Is India preparing for a future in which drones become as important as artillery? And what does it mean for the way India's armed forces will fight the next war? The drone has changed warfare. What once required an expensive aircraft can increasingly be attempted using a relatively inexpensive unmanned system. A drone can observe, locate, track, designate, attack, or simply force an adversary to reveal its position. And while drones operate alongside missiles, artillery, electronic warfare, and conventional aircrafts, they become part of a much larger kill chain. For India, the transformation has been visible over several years. The Army has expanded its use of surveillance UAVs. Loitering munitions have emerged as a major battlefield capability. Counter-drone systems have become essential for protecting bases and formations, and Operation Sindoor further reinforced the importance of drones, precision weapons, air defense, and electronic warfare in modern conflict. The lesson is clear. The battlefield is no longer divided neatly between aircrafts, missiles, and ground forces. It is becoming a network of sensors, shooters, and autonomous systems. And India's latest procurement plan suggests that the armed forces are now moving from experimentation to scale. The Army is looking at a major acquisition of loitering munitions and surveillance systems, and this sits within a much larger defense modernization push already approved by the Defence Acquisition Council. In the July of year 2026, Defence Acquisition Council cleared capital acquisition proposal worth approximately 52,000 crore. The package included next-generation air defense capabilities, counter-drone systems, medium-range surface-to-air missiles, very short-range air defense systems, anti-tank guided missiles, tank protection systems, and kamikaze drones. Taken together, these approvals reveal something important. India is not preparing for only one type of battlefield. It is building a layered force designed to operate against aircrafts, cruise missiles, drones, loitering munitions, armored vehicles, and precision-guided threats. The economics of drone war create a serious problem. If an attacker can use a relatively inexpensive drone to threaten an extremely expensive target, simply firing a high-cost missile at every drone may not be sustainable. That means India needs a layer counter-drone architecture. Detection, tracking, identification, jamming, spoofing, directed energy, guns, and where necessary, missiles. The objective is not merely to destroy drones, it is to make the cost exchange ratio favorable. But India is only preparing to defend against drones. It is also preparing to use them. Loitering munitions sit somewhere between drones and missiles. They can search for a target, loiter, receive updated target information, and then attack. This gives ground commanders a precision strike capability without necessarily requiring an aircraft to enter defended airspace. For the Indian Army, that could transform tactical warfare. A forward formation could potentially detect an enemy artillery position, and engage it rapidly without waiting for a conventional air mission. This creates a major change in India's battlefield architecture. The traditional model was find target, call higher headquarters, assign aircraft/artillery, and then strike. The emerging model is sensor finds target, network identifies target, commander decides, autonomous or semi-autonomous system engages. That compresses the sensor to shooter cycle. And in modern warfare, speed can be decisive. But India faces another challenge. It cannot build the future battlefield around a handful of elite drones. It needs numbers. Thousands of surveillance drones, large inventories of loitering munitions, distributed counter-drone systems, mobile electronic warfare units, and resilient command and control networks. That is why the government emphasizes on indigenous drone manufacturing, which is strategically very important. A drone is relatively easy to manufacture compared with a fighter aircraft, but the military ecosystem around drones, sensors, communications, navigation, artificial intelligence, payloads, batteries, propulsion, and secure data links is much more complex. For India, this is another dimension. Drones can be deployed across mountains, deserts, coastlines, and the high-altitude northern frontier. They can provide persistent surveillance without putting pilots at risk. They can overwhelm air defenses through saturation, and they can operate as part of larger swarms. This makes counter-UAS capability particularly important for India's military bases, ammunition depots, radar sites, airfields, and forward formations.
And that is perhaps the biggest takeaway from the latest procurement push. India is moving from buying individual weapons to building an integrated combat architecture where drones, missiles, air defense, electronic warfare, and surveillance systems work together. For wars of tomorrow, the integration may matter as much as the weapons themselves.